Well, hey there, YouTube. Merry Christmas, holiday season, happy holidays. You're not supposed to say Merry Christmas, right? Happy holidays. So, as we approach the end of the year, it's always wonderful that we have something like Christmas to look forward to. It's been a tradition. It's on the calendar. So, be smart. You know, those family things can be challenging if you're going in there and you're feeling a bit apprehensive. You know that they are going to give you a hard time about whether that's your lifestyle choices, your job, who you're dating, or how you're living. These type of situations are sticky. Getting together to celebrate when other people have ulterior motives, which is to give you a hard time because maybe you're not working, maybe you're struggling with something in your personal life. So these are the challenges we face when we're in a family and we have to report in for the holidays, which it's not fair. These people that are going to hold you to the flame and choose to do so during the holiday, you know, that's really low. That's not what this is about. So if you're familiar with what I'm talking about, you might identify yourself as a black sheep of the family type of person, and that means that you are. If you feel that way, you didn't come up with that in your head, no matter what people want to say, So if that's the case, just prepare yourself with an open heart to try to be nice and communicate, be brave, a firm handshake and a smile, and find some other things to deflect the conversation. And if it goes there, how about saying that it's not the time to discuss such things? We're here for the holiday. We're here to enjoy each other's company. And it's not appropriate conversation. We'll get you out of things wonderfully. So watch your alcohol intake. Always eat. Have a designated driver. My wife doesn't drink. So in the past, I have overdone it, and I can tell you that's not really what you want to do. It's better to wait and have one after the dinner than start early, put the dinner off, stuff like that. So holidays can be a tough time for some of us. If you don't fit into your families, it's challenging. I know, and you can get through it and have a wonderful time. You really can, but it requires that you prepare yourself mentally. Don't get upset in the car on the way up there. Plan a playlist of music to play loud so we don't have those conversations in the car on the way there. There's all kinds of things you can think through. Plan out what exactly you're going to say. It's always good to have a funny story. If you have something like that you can hit the people with, that who are going to ask you if you're working when they know that you're not, because that is evil. That's not Christmas. If you know someone isn't working, why are you going to ask them if they're working? Why are you going to pull that? You know what I mean? So if you can preempt all of that with some Wizard of Oz type, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, have a great story, that'll often really get you off the hook. Where then that person, they realize, well, he's not working, but I can't very well lay into him here. But if you sit there and you're scared and you're not talking to anyone, they will smell that fear and they will hunt you down in front of the worst possible people and corner you and then lay into you. So, how's work? Which, if you're one of these people who, I can't imagine someone who would ask this, would do that, would be watching my channel. But if you are that type of person that would do that, come on. It's the holiday. We're celebrating, whether you admonish or not, whether you believe or not, the concept of Jesus, a guy who died for everyone's sins so they could go to heaven. We're celebrating this most excellent, wonderful concept, whether you believe it or not. But you can't, even if you're an atheist, you can't say the concept of Jesus. Forget religion, forget man. I'm talking about the concept, okay? So that's really what it's all about. And, not to get weird or ecumenical is the wrong word, but that's the truth. That's what it's all about. That's why we celebrate Christmas. And I know. The Catholics took over, and originally it was a solstice celebration. So technically, it has nothing to do with baby Jesus, why we celebrate Christmas. It's some kind of a demonic holiday that has been transmuted. It's been changed, and that's why there's a tree. So look into that. If you're curious, if you think I'm goofy and I don't know what I'm talking about, it's interesting. It's interesting to see how all of those holidays were pagan. So, yeah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. However you look at it, Christmas should be about us getting together, having a meal with our family, and reaffirming our love for one another as a family unit. And I don't see where someone's working, who they're dating, what they're doing with their life, the type of car that they drive. I don't see how that factors into who should be able to experience that, who gets to sit at the adult table. So if you're one of those persons that finds themselves eating alone, eating at the kid table, not eating, and feeling isolated, part of that is you. Believe it or not, it's people have a hard time with you. So if you can figure out how to open your heart and and it requires some work. You have to kind of put yourself out there. That's who this video is for. This video isn't for the person who's going to be telling their stories of their Cancun or their Paris vacation. To you, give the little guy a break this year. Don't call that person out. Don't give that person a hard time. If you're driving a car that your payment costs more than their rent, give that person a break this year, because that's really what I was talking about the true spirit of Christmas, this Jesus thing. And if like, that might not be a good way to wrap all of this up, is through a historical figure like Jesus, but it is what it is. That's kind of the American, the Western version of Christmas. That's what it is. It's Jesus' birthday. And I think that turning that into Santa Claus and gift giving, it did kind of ruin it for me. The how it is from Halloween up until the actual date, and then you see all the stuff being marked down. It's just, oh my God, it makes me ill. It's like, it really should just be about what I talked about the family getting together and tolerating even the black sheep. That's what it should be about. So that's my Christmas wish, is for all of you to have a wonderful holiday and a happy new year, which means that self-reflection on, well, what are we going to do about, last year we knew we had some issues that we needed to work on. And then so this year, in the beginning of the year, when it's cold and nothing's going on, we're going to work on self-improvement, which always means losing weight. It's all about which to me is, there's so many other things that you could do to make yourself a better person, a more tolerable person to be around, a more likable person than losing weight. I mean, I say that and I'm overweight with an excuse. I mean, I'm kind of handicapped. I've got this crippling back pain. I recline 99% of my life. So it's tough for me to get any kind of exercise. But that time between like a week after the New Year up until Valentine's Day, that's the longest stretch where there is no holiday. And I mean, the calendar is planned out, the way that it's laid out is a lot of thought has gone into that. It's like perfection. It's like really dialed in. And the reason it's the longest stretch is because we did have Christmas and New Year's. We had this like mass orgy of holiday. The biggest holiday that there is Christmas in the West. And then right after that, you do a smaller version of that with just your real close family, being New Year's. So then there's that long stretch, and that's where it gets hairy for me. In the past, I would always concentrate on some sort of self-improvement goal, like usually not smoking, quitting smoking. So, not that I'm perfect, but I don't smoke. I haven't smoked for 4 years, and I don't miss it. That's a whole nother video. That was vaping and reducing the nicotine in the e-liquid. Every time we made a batch of e-liquid, we cut the nicotine by 0.5 milligrams. So I didn't really notice that it was getting weaker and weaker because it took a year to get from 3 milligrams to 0. That's how long it took. So I made pretty big batches of e-liquid. They would last about a month. So having the nicotine taper slowly like that, there were little rough spots. The main rough spot was going from smoking to vaping. That was tough. But it was nothing compared to cold turkey. And then because of the fact that it was a gradual process, I psychologically do not miss the nicotine, which is incredible. If I see people smoke, there's no trigger where if I watch people vape, I have a little bit of a trigger, but it's not like that hook that you can't get it out of your mind until you follow through on it. It's nothing like that. It's small. So I just don't watch any vaping content. And when you do watch people vape, they've got giant gauges and a hat, and there's tattoos all over the place, and they're kind of douchey. Big giant beards, and I'm talking about the women. So it's easy to avoid that. But yeah, back on topic, having something like a project that you can do. For me, I usually pick an electronic project where I'm going to make something, I'm going to build something, and that'll happen like around the 7th of January. On that week after, like on the first of the year, second of the year, I'll start gathering the materials, and I've already ordered everything, and I'll kind of get it all together, and then start on that project like about a week after. And if you can drag that out to, for a couple of weeks, last year I recorded an album, which didn't take me very long. It was like 3 weeks, but I was working constantly. I was recording nonstop that entire period. And then we had a family tragedy. We lost our pet, who I had bonded with. Like, you can't even imagine how I had bonded with this cat. And we lost him. So that's where I'm at this year, is like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm hoping someone owes me a VG88, which is a Roland modeling device. And I'm hoping he will mail me that. I've been waiting 7 months or 8 months for that. So I'm hoping I will get that, and that will inspire me to. I have something to do in that rough time, because that's always really. I had I got really sick in 2016. Bowie died right in there, like the first week, the end of the first week. Bowie died, and I really dove into the internet, and there was so much content about Bowie, and that led me to Todd Rundgren. For some reason, I discovered the music of Todd Rundgren, who I was aware of, but I had never really everything I had heard by him I had loved, and I know I had heard Utopia. I know I must have listened to some live content of them, because I had heard it. When I went back and listened to it, it was like I remembered this music. It was very weird. But when I discovered his album, A Wizard, A True Star, completely blew my mind. I could not believe how good this album was. It's incredible. If you've never heard that, you're in for a treat. It's an incredible album. Like really, really unbelievably great stuff. And so I went on that trip right when I got sick. And that was, it was a panic attack that lasted a quarter. And I couldn't eat and I couldn't sleep. And I had, unbelievable cramping diarrhea, and then I couldn't breathe at night, and it was so horrible. I felt like I had been poisoned with a psychedelic, like I was tripping every day, nightmare, and it just didn't stop. It was so horrible. I almost didn't make it. It was that bad, and none of the doctors could give me any answers. So I'm living a more healthy life. They put me on some SSRI medication, and I'm off of that now. Recently got off of that. It's been a couple of months, and I've been feeling just incredible. I'm feeling really, really good. For another reason that I kind of can't talk about. But what? So, yeah, this coming up, I'm nervous. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to record. I don't know if I'm ready to record yet. So, I know I'll figure it out, and even if I don't do anything, I could install some video games on my system and sit here and game. It's not like I'm going to be missing anything. But what's important is my mental health is what's important. And this is a tough part of the year. This is it's tough to get through the holidays for some of us. So, having something planned for after that, because this is when all the suicides happen. They all happen between the 2nd of January and Valentine's Day. This is when people are killing themselves. Well, there's a lot of death in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's a lot of people die. It's just a weird thing. It's like the Grim Reaper calls. But then there's a lot of suicides too. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that those suicides are between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think they're after the 2nd of January. And really, that having Valentine's Day, you're really out of the water when April showers bring May flowers in May. So it's good to have something in there that can keep you busy for a while. If you are a recording musician, this is when you need to strap in and get serious and do an album, do a double album, plan something out and make yourself proud of yourself, because that'll be enough to carry you through the year, that you did something that impressive. So, probably way too long already, my holiday video. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much to the few people that watch this channel. on a regular basis. I really do appreciate the views, and have a wonderful holiday.